Sup guys? Alright, so it's been a while. I haven't posted anything because if anybody knows anything about cars, it's just super expensive to get parts. That's also one of the reasons. Also, I've been kind of lazy. But now I'm back on it. I'll try to get back on it sooner. So, for all the new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. I was pretty blown away by like how many subscribers I got in the time I didn't post. But this is my 04 STI, and yes, it is 04. It might have like the rear 05, but it's a late model 04, so it got all the 05 stuff. But today I'm going to be doing a shifter overhaul. So what might that be? So pretty much I got this Cobb adjustable short shifter. Just to adjust the height if I change up my shift knobs or I want a different feel. It's always nice to be adjustable all the time. I got a pair and reverse lockout. The reason why I got that one is on STIs, over time, since this thing's like, what, 10 years old? I don't know, it's pretty old now. There's bushings inside the reverse lockout that wear over time, and every time you're like just banging gears or just shifting very aggressively, you hear like a little clunk in the reverse lockout. So yeah, those bushings just go bad. You can probably just lubricate them, but I just decided to get a new one. The paint's fading on mine too, so why not? And this is Torque Solutions. What is this? Here's the part number. Shifter bushing combo kit, and this pretty much replaces all the shifter bushings or most of the shifter components. This whole thing is, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of people just replacing like these two that go to linkage, this one's for like the rear of the shifter. I don't know. These are the shifter linkage bushings, pivoting, I don't know, something like that. But I've seen a lot of videos of people doing like, you know, piece by piece, like oh, we're gonna do this or this. But no, this is gonna be a full, pretty much how-to of how to overhaul your shifter assembly. Because let's face it, these things are gonna get older and older, and all these bushings are gonna start wearing out over time. So first things first, I'm gonna jack up this car just so I can just have it in the air once I go do the other things underneath. Alright guys, so now that I have my car all jacked up, ready to go, I can already start installing some bushings. So on the short shifter, there's a little hole right here. This is for your, I think it's called a pivot bushing, but these won't just slide in. Since they're made out of plastic, you'll have to like either press them in with like just some clamps and just use a lot of force, or what I'm doing is I'm just using my little 3-pound sludge right here and just kind of banging it up against it. And if you don't want to ruin the finish of this shifter, just put it up against something that it'll like some wood or some foam or something that won't like scuff up the finish. So I got it pressed in, and I failed to mention that that throughout this whole process, you want to use some type of lubricant, some grease or something to make it easier on yourself to slide the bushings in. And for this bushing, then you just slide that in. That's pretty much it. This is a whole assembled piece. You want to make sure your bushings are as flush as you can get them. And yeah, now we're actually taking the whole interior part. So since I have a 05 style interior, if you have this type of style of center console, pretty much what you do is you just lift up right there, and that's already out. Remove your shift knob. Also, if anybody's wondering what kind of shift knob this is a Tomei, I don't remember, but it's like a Tomei shift knob. They don't make it for Subarus, especially these 6-speeds. So what I did was I pretty much shaved down the lug nut, just to aftermarket type of lug nuts, one of those like extended ones. Shaved it down since the lug nut thread pitch is the same as this shifter thread pitch. Yeah, and it just screws in perfectly fine. I kind of need to bang it in just a little bit more, and especially for the reverse lockout. But yeah. Also, this little boot needs to come off. And then you can pretty much just set that off to the side. If you really want to, you can just like disconnect all this. Now, I've never removed a reverse lockout before, but how I'm going about this is there's a little tiny pin right there. I'm going to punch that out. Alright guys, so I managed to remove the pin. It was just a little punch that you had to punch all the way through completely. At the very end I used some vice grips right there to grab it, just because I'm gonna probably have to reuse it. There we go. There's that part. And there's a spring right here. Alright, I'll just take that out. Also, you can notice that this is not connected anymore. So this bolt pretty much went right here. And I took two 12 mil wrenches, one ratcheting, one on. And I just kind of did a back and forth motion. Now I'm assuming there's some type of a C-clip down there. There we go. Yeah, I'm assuming there's some type of a C-clip down there, but let me look for it. Oh yeah, I think I see it. Just covered it by grease. So I managed to take my shifter out. This little part was attached to the bottom of the shifter bushing, and as you can see that there's O-rings on there. One of these O-rings fell out while I was coming out, so just so anybody's wondering if theirs falls out. And if you're trying to remove this out the bottom piece, just undo the top O-ring and this all should just spread out. Also, I'm going to need some grease. I need to pick some up. And I found an Easter egg with my car. It turns out they had already had some type of polyurethane bushings, because these do not look factory. But either way, I'm changing to the shifter, so it's no big deal. And I cut this little zip tie off from the factory. Oh, there goes my light. So you can see right here, there's some Phillips screws that you need to remove in order to get this whole assembly out. But now that I'm looking at it, might not have to. I don't know. I'm just gonna do some investigating and figure out how to remove this reverse lockout part. Alright, never mind. That was like a second after I stopped filming. But so this reverse lockout cable, you just pull on it with the pliers pretty much I was using, and it just slides out. It's a literal like cable that just slides in. So as you can see, that there's a little tiny hole right there that you have to line up with that hole right there. And that's alright, that's pretty good to know for later on. Now I'm thinking I'm all done with up top on the car. Now to go down below. Alright guys, now that I'm under the car, I can see that these are still the factory bushings. I'm going to be removing that bottom one right there, and let me actually use the camera light instead. There we go. This bottom one, and then that other bushing that you can see up top, way up there, I'm going to be replacing all those bushings and this rear mount bushing. I think my plan of attack is just going to take out this 12 mil bolt, that other 12 mil bolt. Yeah, pretty much go at it like that. This one doesn't look like a fun time to take out just because of how cramped it is. Like you can see it right there. Or maybe I might have to take out this one first. I'm not sure. So let me come back to you on that. Alright people, so big update. so I got the rear bolts out, and they're right there. They're little tiny bolts. As for this, yeah, I couldn't get the bolt out without having to drop the transmission. I've seen other people, drop their rear mount, and I was like, man, I don't want to, but if I kind of have to, then oh well. So I'm just gonna place my jack probably around there. Let me shoot some light. Yeah, probably place my jack somewhere around here. I'll put a block of wood on there so it's not like actually contacting a pad or the pan. Yeah, just unbolt all my mounts and let the transmission hang a little, and that should give me the clearance, or at least I can move it side to side to get that bolt out, pretty much. Yeah. Alright guys, I feel like a dumbass. Alright, so here's a big update. Yeah, as you can see, this thing's already over here. Just boom, bushing popped out. But so as you can see that? Yeah, right there. So you can see that there's a little notch that the bolt just slides out of. So technically I didn't even need to drop the transmission. I was already dropping it and all that. Then I saw these little holes up here. I was like, wait, what are those for? So I went up here. I was like, alright, what am I missing? There's 4 10 mils. Oh shit, my bad. There's 4 10 mil bolts on each corner. These golden ones. And they're held in by this plate. So I undid those. And how I did it was I undid it with my 10 mil wobbly socket. And these rear ones, I did it with the 10 mil wrench. And since I'm pretty sure that thing's never been taken off, it was kind of crusty, so I just kind of lift it up gently, or just give it a little bit of a wiggle. Now we crawl back under here. This pretty much what I did from up top was I forced it down, and then this whole thing just kind of came out. Assuming I can take this little rubber piece off. I don't know, but alright, so now I have easier access for the one up top. So disregard this. Well, maybe not. Yeah, probably just lower your transmission down, because this is my setup that I have right now. Yeah, you probably do have to lower your transmission. I was trying not to, but at the end I was like, well, I have the resources. I was like, whatever, it's fine. So yeah, let me go ahead and do all this. And also, for any of you wondering when I said 10 mil wobbly, oh, there goes my light. So these are wobbly sockets. These are from Matco. They retail for $300 and something for a full set of 3/8, and these are 365 degrees rotation. They're worth every goddamn penny, cause that's how I got that rear bolt out. I used this 12, or no, this is a 14, but over here I used this 12 mil one, and it was fantastic. These I use at work all the time. I can't stress this enough. I recommend this to anyone who is working, especially on a Subaru, because everything's just so goddamn tight. But yeah, let me go ahead and just kind of work my way up. I think I'm gonna remove this thing out of here. I don't know, undo this line, just move it off to the side and all that. I need both my hands. Alright guys, after much thinking and going to the bathroom, I figured it out. So, how to remove this one, I don't know what this bushing's called, pretty much, but how to remove this bushing is, you don't actually unbolt it. There's a little roll pin, if I can find it, under here. Oh, jeez. There it is. So it's this little roll pin right here, pretty much. And you just got a hammer, or you gotta use a, shit, sorry guys. But, alright, well either way. You gotta use a punch to actually get it out. From the looks of it, there's actually like two pins. Like one's just kind of, oh shit, one's just kind of in the other. But pretty much what I used was, I used a really blunt punch at first to make it smooth with the actual surface, and then I used this other one to just get it going a little bit. Then once like the roll pin was like just in the hole, and I could start seeing the grooves of the inner hole, if that makes any sense, then I started using this one and just kind of riding the side, cause what I was experiencing, sorry, as you can see right there, this little punch, if you punch it down the middle, it's just gonna expand the roll pin, and your punch is gonna get stuck. And if it does get stuck for some reason, I recommend some vice grips. Just move it side to side and it should come off free. But I was pretty much, oh man, this light is not having it. Yeah, I was just riding against the side and just pushing this up until it just plopped all the way out. And then once that was out, this reverse lockout cable, it was still in this little grommet or whatever this is. I just pretty much just pulled it out of there. Yeah, now the fun part is taking these bushings apart from both of these things. Alrighty. Where was it? Oh, so I was worried that when I got this bushing kit, I would not have any little, whatever these are, these things, but it seems like these things fit in here perfectly. So you reuse these, I don't know what they're called. Oh man, my voice. You reuse these cylinders or whatever from both of these bushings. So I'm just gonna take these bushings out. Alright guys, so I figured out that screwdriver technique was not working. I tried prying on it and all that, and it was just not working. So what I did was took some vice grips, grabbed the edge of the bushing, and I stood on it with one foot and I just pulled on it super hard, and it just plopped out. I was like, okay, cool. If you're trying to replace yours, now with these, figured out that it's just they're two pieces. There you go. Just one piece pops out, and the other one, see, pops out too. Yep. So these are pretty easy. This one's the only hard one. If you, I didn't even consider that hard. But yeah, let me put the new bushings in. Remember, when you're putting the new bushings in, just lubricate them on the way in. You might need a hammer, just how like I install this other bushing here. You might need a hammer just to persuade it in. Alright guys, so I'm not afraid to admit that I fucked up. But alright, so disregard pretty much what I just said. I pressed this one in, and now it's too short. So moral of the story is, make sure you get your shit in the right place. I tested it, it's fine. It's just gonna come out a little bit shorter than I would like, but since there's a nut and bolt at the other ends, it'll still compress it and the bushing will still hold. Pretty much the only purpose of that thing is to like actually keep them together and let the bolt like slide in, have no play. But that was my bad. I thought there was something wrong with this kit, but yeah, that's just me being a dumbass pretty much and messing up shit. But yeah, I'm just gonna send it like this. It's perfectly fine. As for the other bushings, this is the other one. This one went on like a breeze. Like, it literally, like, out of all the bushings, this one has like a little bit of like semi-flex. Yes, it's poly, but it's got like a little bit of flex to it, unlike the other ones, which are like straight up like hard plastic. Yeah, that's the old bushing. Now, I'm gonna shove them in there. Probably won't film that just because, you know, taking them off and putting them on, same difference. If I have any suggestions or tips, I'll let you know on the way there. But yeah, I'll see you at the end result pretty much, unless something comes up. Alright guys, so I've been having problems for the last like 30 minutes or whatever trying to get the stupid roll pin back in, and I was just so frustrated. I went to go eat. But alright, so I was YouTubing around and I found this video where this guy pretty much told me to put vice grips at the end. Let's see. So you're using the vice grip to pretty much compress the actual roll pin in. And then I just like hammered the bottom of the vice grip, and that's enough to just get it started. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed just to get started. I could hammer the rest of it in with this, and that's probably what I end up doing. But if not, I can just use a punch. Make sure your holes are all lined up and all your bolts go where they're supposed to go, but I thought that would be a pretty helpful trick for anyone who's trying to do it. I almost forgot to show you, but here's the rear linkage bushing. I don't know, but so when you're installing this one, make sure that, let's see, this, no, just get out under your car. There you go. Notice how this one has like a slight angle to it. That's because of how the transmission tunnel is. Pretty much this side goes down, that side goes up, and it's supposed to be just like so. And it also comes with new bolts. Make sure you use them, because I'm pretty sure this one's a little bit longer and they're new. So there's no reason not to. And yeah, everything's coming together pretty good. Everything's sliding in nice and easy now. Alright guys, so I'm all done buttoning up this rear mount and all that. I just gotta put the transmission brace back in, but I did want to inform you guys something so stupid that happened with this. So these rear bolts, they come fully threaded, just like this exhaust nut comes fully threaded. And here's an OEM nut. So as you can see from the tip right there, that's pretty much a guide for letting you, like, you know, just move the bolt in position. And since that one's fully threaded, you have no pretty much guide. And it took me a while to what's called thread these bolts in. So my suggestion to you guys is start with this one that's on the outside, because that's the easy one. The first one's the easy one, but the next one, that one's just a bitch. Like, you just have to constantly be going back and forth on it, like just making sure you thread it in by hand. I cannot stress that enough. Don't thread this by hand. You're gonna cross thread it into your body, then you gotta take all the shit out and figure out how you're gonna retap that hole. But yeah, just take your time with this bolt and that roll pin connector, or that roll pin up there. Alright guys, so I'm all done. It looks pretty good. Pretty good as is. The feeling that I get, this is just a dry test too, I haven't even got it. It's stiff, like it's super stiff. If you're not into like super stiff shifters, because like there's no play whatsoever, like I can feel kind of the shaft in the middle pretty much, but like yeah, there's no play whatsoever. Even in gear, there's no play. So I'm happy about that, but I'm kind of not happy how it's super stiff. Like yes, I knew getting into this that polyurethane bushings are pretty stiff. Oh, and especially like the reverse lockout takes like a while, especially with my my knob setup. It's not ideal to press it from down here, but you know, my hand's big enough. Yeah, that takes a while. Also, it like kind of slowly goes down. And one thing I did want to touch upon, that down here, let's see, where's you at? Down here, you can see this little lever right here. This is the reverse lockout lever. So when you uninstall this thing's gonna be like way back here. So you need to put it all the way forward. There's like a little tiny hole you can stick an Allen wrench into on the side of the transmission. Because if you don't do that, then you're never gonna get your reverse lockout to line up properly. I had to find out the hard way on that one. But other than that, yeah, she's pretty good. I'll show you all the tools that you'll need to do this with in a minute. Alrighty, sorry for the background noise. My neighbors are doing their thing. But so this is my impact gun. This is totally optional. But what I have on here is 14 with an extension. I took off the lower, the transmission mounts with these, various screwdrivers to pry with, small Phillips. That's optional if you're gonna reuse your reverse lockout or the original shifter part from the STI. A 10, a 12, a 14 wobbly. You can get these at Harbor Freight for I think $20, but these are the Matco 360-degree ones. These retail for like $350-ish. This one's a 17 socket. That's for the transmission mounts. This one's a 13 mil socket. This one's for the new bolts that Torque Solutions supplies you with for the new bushings. Vice grips, never a bad thing. Safety glasses, because there's a bunch of stuff that fell on my eyes all down there. Harbor Freight light, not bad. Various punches. The wrenches, I had a 10 mil ratcheting, 14 mil. It's a double-ended, so this is 12, 14, but you need the 14 for one of the bushings or one of the linkages under the car. A 14, another 14, a 13 mil. That was for the Torque Solutions rear bolts I was talking about. Kind of like started it a little with that and then went to a ratchet. 12 mils, a fixed and a ratcheting, a nice sludge. Also with hammers, since you're kind of down there all the time, it's optional to have like a smaller hammer. That's what I have. These C-clip pliers, yeah, pretty sure. These are Harbor Freight. They're like $15. It's worth getting these instead of the ones that cost $5 because these are longer. It really helps out. Some crappy pliers and ratchet extension. That's pretty much it. That's all I use to do all my bushings in my shifter, and it turns out pretty nice. Kind of excited to test drive it. Never really had a solid bushings before, so I'll give you a review on it after like a week or so. Probably put it down in the comments or in the bio below what my overall thoughts are. But yeah, it's pretty sick. And then again, I'll put everything I have down below. Well, alright guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And sorry I haven't been posting forever. It's just car parts, and I get home from work and I'm just dead beat. But yeah,